Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Jinto from US Cricket Store bringing you another episode of the most frequently asked questions. Now the intention of this video again is to basically answer the questions in a generic way to all the folks who ask the questions more repeatedly. The question that we're going to be addressing today is that what's the difference between a more grainier bat, that is a bat with a lot of grains, versus a bat that is having lesser number of grains. So without further ado, let's get into the thick of things. But first, before I go there, I want to just emphasize or at least educate all of you with one point which is very important for us to understand before we head on to the video. So the first point that I want to emphasize is that all the dark lines that you see on a cricket bat, which is the grains, are basically the time when the tree was actually hibernating or sleeping in the UK winter conditions. And all the white portion that you see between the dark lines is basically the part when the tree was actually growing, and those are the fibers which are compressed when this bat goes under the pressing machine, and that is where you get the performance from. With that said, let's head on to our video now. So I'm going to be dividing this video into sections. First point that we want to discuss is availability, and to discuss availability, the first point that I want to emphasize is that a bat with a lot of grains means that it is coming from a tree which has been planted long back ago. That means it's coming from an older tree, and a bat with lesser number of grains are coming from a younger tree planted not that long ago. Second point that I want to discuss is the longevity part. Now, just a disclaimer here that if you don't take care of your bat, regardless of it being a bat with more number of grains or lesser number of grains, it's not going to last. But considering that you're going to be taking care of your bat with the utmost care and due diligence, but still the bat which is having more number of grains eventually coming in from an older tree would be prone to a damage at a faster rate than a bat that is coming from a younger tree which is having lesser number of grains. Third aspect that I want to discuss is the performance part. Now, the amount of time that will be taken for a bat with more number of grains to reach its peak performance would be less, and a bat which is having lesser number of grains, which is the spread out grains, would take a little longer to reach its peak performance. The correlation is very simple. The lesser the distance between the two dark lines, the faster it would reach the peak performance, because as I said at the start of the video, it's the white portion between the dark lines that contribute towards the performance of a cricket bat. And finally, the fourth point that I want to emphasize is the price point. Now, it's a very simple phenomenon that occurs in the world today, that any commodity that is available at a scarce level or at a lesser quantity, and if the demand for the same is on the higher side, you would have to pay a hefty price for it. So same thing goes, the trees that were planted long back ago, that means a bat that looks beautiful with a lot of grains are becoming scarce, and that has been highlighted by the bat supplier or the willow supplier as well. So eventually you have to pay a hefty price. Hence, for grade 1s and grade play edition bats, you have to pay a hefty price tag for purchasing that bat, versus a bat that's coming from a younger tree. That means you would have a lot of options or a lot of trees to actually produce those bats, and that's why those bats are generally priced lower than the grade 1s and the play edition bats, grade 2 and grade 3 as an example. I would like to conclude this video by busting a myth. What I want to at least confirm that please don't have the impression that more the number of grains a bat would definitely perform. Number of grains do not decide that performance of a bat. If the bat having more number of grains and not pressed properly, definitely it's not going to perform. It can be a plank. But if a bat is having ideal number of grains and if it is pressed to the point perfectly to give you the optimum performance, you have a cannon in your hand. With that said, I hope this video was useful. If you like the content on this channel, please smash that subscribe button. Otherwise, it's all good. Until next time, this is Jinto signing off from US Cricket Store, redefining cricket in US. Cheers.